Hello fellas and welcome back to the show. And this time I got a new camera for you guys. As you can see, it's a little better, sharper vision stuff than usually, I hope. I'm not sure. Whatever, I got a couple of movies to review for you guys, so let's keep at it. We start off with Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. And this is a movie that I really much enjoy. The reason is that I'm not a big fan of Clive Barker, but I did love Candyman. However, in this movie, it's like a detective story with supernatural elements. And that is what makes the movie so goddamn awesome, because I like the fact that it doesn't break character. It's always a detective story with supernatural elements. It doesn't become an over-the-top horror film. It's always the same thing. So that is what makes the movie so goddamn cool. Plus, it's an awesome cast too, you know. Next up is Bullet in the Head, directed by John Woo himself. Alright, about this film, it's not his greatest movie, and it's not the worst movie either. It's somewhere in between. And, you know, it takes some while for you to actually get into the film or actually care about anything within the movie. But once you do, you kind of start to like it and enjoy it. But it's way too long. Way, way, way too long. Even the action scenes are too long. Whatever, it's not his greatest film, but it works. Next is a film I borrowed from a friend, so I don't owe it. I borrowed it. Left Right Nerds, directed by Peter Jackson. You know, I'm not a big fan of horror comedies, or sometimes I am, but I just didn't enjoy that Ghostbusters movie, okay? Everybody loves it, but I wasn't a big fan. So Left Right Nerds was more of an option for me, and what I like more about the movie that really saves the movie for me and make it even more interesting is Jeffrey Combs as the strangest, you know, private investigator slash FBI agent I've ever seen. He was mind-fucked and totally out of control. He pops up from absolutely nowhere and becomes one of the most strangest, derangest characters I've ever seen. I loved that. Other than that, the movie's alright, you know, but that's the only thing worth mentioning. Okay, up next is a terrible, dreadful film. Do not watch it. Cash. It's a good ending, alright, the ending is really cool. It's a really cool plot ending that could go to the history of, you know, like, surprises in one ending. But the rest of the film is total trash. And that destroyed the movie totally. It's not even worth looking at. Just, if you see this movie, shoot it, alright? Okay, next up is Hitchcock. And this is a movie that plenty of people enjoy, me including. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I still enjoy it. It takes some time to get to know Hitchcock and get to actually like his character because he's a bit strange, but I do love when he goes a bit crazy because it was, after all, a psycho. So, it's an interesting film to check out, mainly because of him as a portrayal. Him and Helen Mirren, of course. Other than that, you know, it's a good, solid film, but nothing more than that. Phenomena is up next by Dario Argento. Not the greatest movie, and not the worst movie either, so it's just like Bullet in the Head, it's somewhere in between. Very gory, very bloody, very disturbing in a way, but still somehow cute and adorable. With a soundtrack that is astonishing, but very bad edited, because they place it in the most unappropriated times. It's like someone taking a shit and you hear this awesome soundtrack kicks in. It doesn't make any sense, you know, where the hell does it come from? Yeah, an okay film. The best one in this collection, in this very video, has to go to John Carpenter's They Live. This made my summer. And the reason is that I've been searching for this movie high and low in Sweden for years. So I checked it out on eBay and I found it, and here it is. It's an awesome movie. I've seen it before plenty of times, but it was even better now when I have a DVD. It's a sci-fi, action, comedy film, but the most scary things is the paranoia of the movie, alright? Because it makes you believe, you know, this story about Snowden and everything, that the Americans are spying on people. It makes things a bit more creepier when you watch this movie. And maybe we start to believe that there's some things in this world we're not meant to understand. For better or for worse. It's a matter of opinion, I guess. Very interesting film. Next up is the classic, Leon. Many people think it's one of the greatest action films of all time. I don't want to go too far with that, you know. But it still is a very good film in the direction of the characters counterparting to each other. Really, really good. Um, the action is okay, but it's way better the first time you watch it. I cried at the end the first time I watched it. This time when I know how the movie ends, it wasn't the same thing. But, well, Natalie Portman is the only thing I need to say. Natalie Portman. Okay, last thing is Office Space. And, not the greatest movie of all time, but it's a damn good comedy. I had to admit that. It's a really good comedy. The two first parts are amazing, but the third part, the last part of the movie, goes downhill. It becomes too ridiculous, and it doesn't match up with how good the rest of the movie is. And that is why comedy is so tough to make. The Big Lebowski, on the other hand, is the greatest when it comes to making these sort of comedies. Directed by Mike Judge, by the way, and Mike Judge also made a terrible comedy film known as Extract. He also made Beavis and Butthead, but I'm not a big fan of it, so I guess this is the only movie I like that he made. Alright, and I am done. How about that? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and, you know, sub, or comment, or do your thing, and, I'll see you next time. Kapow! That was dreadful.